went down in Atlanta on July 17th and 18th at the Total Life Changes National Event. It all happened at the Georgia International Convention Center. All the events were fantastic. The training was superb. Excellent. And just in case you weren't able to make it or you have friends that need the training, it's available right now. Log on to www.tlc-atlanta.com on demand for $5.99. That's thousands of dollars of information for only $5.99. Log on today. It's Miami, baby! Miami, baby! Total Life Changes presents the 2016 TLC Awards in beautiful Miami, Florida. Get your best dress ready because this is a black tie affair. February 19th and 20th. If you thought Atlanta was hot, it's time to sizzle in the Miami heat. There will be VIP parties and some of the best entertainment around. The heat is already turning up. Join us as we celebrate TLC's top earner, top recruiter, and introducing best new networker and more. February 19th and 20th. All roads lead to Miami, baby. Get your tickets today because this is one award show you don't want to miss.
This is Kenny Lloyd. Listen, I want to welcome everybody to the Hangout. This is our leadership Hangout. We did it a little different this time. Typically, we do it by phone, but tonight we thought we'd start a new trend and do these Hangouts so we can kind of see people. Listen, the first thing, I don't know, it sounded a little distorted to me. We were showing the video for Miami, okay? And I want to say this. We had a meeting here at the Houston office today. Well, this evening, and there were about 20 leaders in here, and we were talking about kicking off our meetings here in Houston. And the one thing that we were talking about is that leading up to Miami, everything we do has to be very intentional. Our goal, as we talked about, is to have 10,000 people, 10,000 plus people in Miami, and we must be in sync. I think that each and every one of us, as we think about directing 10,000 people to Miami, I think that we really have to be in sync and we really have to be deliberate. And we talked about that here tonight. And but you know what? Before I really hit on that, I want to congratulate everybody on a job well done in Atlanta. I mean, let me tell you something. I think that every event you learn from and you grow from. But I got to say that you all did an excellent job. All of you all who spoke on the stage, your content was great. Although some of us went a little over, but that's okay because we'll get that down too. But for the most part, we did an impeccable job. We had over 3,000 people at this event, and I don't know about you all, but my phone has been blowing up. I've been receiving calls for the last 3 days with people who said, I'm ready, okay? Now, I want you to imagine what's going to happen after Miami. I want you've got to imagine 10,000 people in a venue. But I will say this, I always think from the standpoint of the people that I'm trying to convince to do this. And, one thing I said about you all that went to the Hangout that we did, that Jack and I did, you heard me say that with every event, as you grow, you stretch. And you have to stretch the belief. Thank God we have a CEO who really believes and is not afraid. He doesn't operate in the spirit of fear. And he believes. And I think that every event creates a little more belief. So now we're talking about 10,000 people. But you know what? What we have to do is we have to make sure that we continuously prove to them our sincerity about this, and we do it by doing the small things like the early bird tickets. Yeah, I had a lot of people talk to me about, well, we didn't have the link on the screen and what we could have done, and I say shoulda, woulda, coulda. Everything doesn't always go well, but what we do is from this point on, what we have control over, we control. And I think that each of us in our markets, if we're going to have 10,000 people, each market, each one of you leaders on this phone, you're going to have to be accountable to get X amount of people in Miami. We talked about it here in Houston, Texas, and Houston, Texas has committed to 2,500 people. We're going to, from the great state of Texas, Stormy, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't pointing you out directly. From the great state of Texas, Stormy, we're going to have 2,500 people that are going to be in attendance in Miami. What? What do we say? Houston, Texas, baby? H-Town. Okay, we're throwing down 2,500 people. That's our commitment. So we're going to ask each and every one of you guys to make a commitment, and you're going to fulfill that commitment by taking X amount of tickets, and you're going to be held accountable to getting those amount of people. So when you start talking about how many people you're going to contribute to that 10,000, listen, don't be obnoxious with it. Be realistic based on where you are and what you have going on, you know, in the leadership you have there. Just don't throw a number out. You're going to be held accountable to that number. We're going to be held accountable to 2,500 people, but we also have to be held accountable to how many early bird tickets are we going to sell, because we have to demonstrate the corporate and make it take the load off of them. Because if we sell 3,000 tickets to the event, you know, in the next 30 days, listen, it makes it a lot easier for corporate to really go and to start securing things, because they don't have to come out of their pocket for so much. So I do want to say that all roads lead to Miami. Now, we have a, say it, Stormy, all roads lead to Miami. Now, what we're going to do is we have a meeting next week, and we have a team for Miami, you know, and we have a team, we have some very bright minds, and we're going to talk, and when we have this meeting, I've already apprised everybody, don't come with an idea, come with loaded. Come and bring not just an idea, but bring the documentation. Have a full presentation of your idea, and what we're going to do is that we're going to begin the planning process. So therefore, we meet next Thursday, and going into the following week on that Monday, we will be putting all of our plans into action to make sure that we do everything possible to get 10,000 people there. So we're very excited about that. So again, one more time, I want to congratulate each and every one of you all for the spectacular job that you all did representing TLC, and I know we're being rewarded for it. Another thing, we have a couple guest speakers on the line, but I want to kind of segue into one of them. You all don't understand, and I really don't think, I think it's indicative of the fact that we really don't understand, and we're continuously learning the power of having a tool such as the magazine that has the leadership in that magazine. I don't think we really understand how to use it, and that's the only thing that could explain the lack of sale of the magazine. I really believe that if you understand the power, so before I bring the guest speakers on, I have a couple people who have been in Success Magazine on the line, and I really want them to kind of share with you all how it really took their business to another level. So the first person that I'd like to speak on the line would be Twyla Portis. I have Executive Ambassador Twyla Portis, and Twyla and I, in the previous company that we worked together in, she and her family were featured in Success from Home, and it exploded her business, but I'll let her share that. So without further ado, I'd like to bring Executive Ambassador Twyla Portis from H-Town on the line.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Lloyd, for having me on the Hangout tonight. You know, it's always a pleasure to hang out with such incredible people. And, you know, as Mr. Lloyd was saying about the magazine, you know, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it is absolutely incredible for our company to be featured in a publication. You know, you can edify that publication by saying, you know, our company is the first, you know, company to ever be featured in some big publication. And you know, to take that magazine and be able, you know, to use it as a prospecting tool is phenomenal. You know, I understood immediately when the magazine was launched. You know, I immediately sent, you know, out, you know, to go ahead and purchase 300 magazines. You know, so that we can get them, one, at the discounted price, but two, to be able, to get them out to our organizations, to come back to our city, and share with people. Here we are, a company, 18, 19 months that we've been involved in the business, and we have all of these individuals, all of these business partners, who's obviously been featured because of their success. I can remember, Mr. Lloyd, using, the Successful Home magazine, as Erwin and I and our family was featured in that magazine, and, and coming back and being able, to share with people that, here is, from a company perspective, that we're our company, because of the success that our company is having, we were featured in this publication. And and we gave those out to people. We edified the other leaders that was in the magazine. The great thing about having it and having all of those different stories, that other people are going to relate to those stories. So, it's not just one story, it's 5 or 6 or 7 stories in this magazine. And so when you're out here talking to people, you can point to, a Greg and Lanika, someone who has a family, a large family, and you can talk about them and say, hey, listen, I understand what you're going through, I understand what you're saying, but here's a family. You can point to, someone, in a medical career, like a Denise Lee, who's a registered nurse, and, and you can share her story. Someone who's been talking about, bankruptcy or whatever the case may be. So, guys, having that magazine is not just about you being in the magazine, but it's about all the other people that you can edify and that you can share with others, so that they are able to relate to that. So, I can tell you, if you've not gotten your magazines, you definitely want to get those. I mean, we're completely, out. And got some more coming on the way, because we understood the dynamics of getting that magazine into the hands of other people, and obviously making sure that, our organization, had a magazine where they're out and about, they can talk to people, they can, be able to, turn to these different stories. To obviously be relatable. So I think it's an honor for us to have such a publication, that we can share with the world, and to use it as such is going to be incredible. I mean, it took our business to a whole nother level in our prior company, and it wasn't just because there was one family, it was because it was several families, and we were able to leverage those families.
Thank you, Twyla. Listen, also, let me say this. In addition to what Twyla just said, you have to be mindful of this, that corporate spends a lot of money on us. They believe in us. So therefore, everything and anything they can do to enhance our ability to perform, they do it. Okay? So a lot of money was spent on these magazines for us to leverage this. And I believe in honoring things like that. And we have to honor those kind of commitments from corporate. And look, man, I mean, and that's just the reality of it. When anytime somebody gets behind you and does something that they don't have to do, we have to honor it. And they did it because it is an incredible tool that has created major successes out here in this industry. And same thing for Shantae and myself. It put us on the map being a success from home. And everybody on our team had a magazine. Why? Because until you build your story, you can, again, begin to share other people's stories. And like Twyla said, you have to have stories sell in this industry. If you master telling stories, you will see your income start to rise, because everybody's different. So you have relatable stories in that magazine. Now, here's another person, and I always say that when you look at people that are having tremendous success, you really have to figure, why are they having a success? Why? Because they do the right things. So I'd like to bring another person to the line who, again, was featured twice in Success from Home, magazine and leveraged it tremendously. So I'd like to bring to the line of 3 times. I'm sorry, Stormy, 3 times, counting this one.
I was
So,
leveraged 3 times too.
So I'm sorry, Twyla said 3 times as well. So I would like to see. This is why we're going to do calls from now on. Okay. but I'd like to bring up Stormy Wellington. And Stormy, please do me a favor and share with the people the viability of the magazine and how you leveraged it and really it took your business to another level.
Well, first and foremost, I must say that I am excited to be on this hangout tonight. I mean, with you, Mr. Lloyd, with you, Mr. Jack Fallon, with you, Miss Twyla Portis. I mean, we are just having so much fun over here in TLC. And as I look at Mr. Lloyd with his hand and that big old ring, I know your finger gonna have some muscles, man. Man. Well, you know what? When I was sitting in the couches at the conviction, it was not called convention. I called it the conviction for me because I knew that, when you go to conventions, you start to realize that even though you may be doing great, that there's so much more you can be doing. And I'm thankful for where I am financially. I'm excited about what the team is doing. But I was convicted that there's so much more that has yet to be done. But I was looking at just the tools that we didn't have. We're still in the embryo stage of our business. We're still at the foundational stage of our business. And I know that there are some things that I can say and do, and there's some things that you can say and do that the average person just don't even know how to say and do. But the beautiful part about having the magazine is that you don't have to say and do a lot. The first thing is that it's social proof, that the magazine validates that we're now on the map. I mean, thinking about how our company been around for 15 years and nobody even knew who we were. Now we are, in a magazine, not just a page, not just one story, but multiple families. And if people understand that we are creatures of tangibles, we like to touch and feel and see things. I've already given out, I'm not out of magazines because I got a lot, but I've given out about 20 magazines, and it started in the airport. I was able to take that magazine, give it to someone, and as I was talking about, how Greg and Lanika Scott, 18 months ago was, her husband was making $11 an hour. She was, basically, trying to figure out how to make it happen. I was able to turn to her page and say, hey guys, look at this right here. I was able to turn to your page, Mr. Lloyd, and tell somebody how, you and Shantae approached me about, 2 years ago, and I said no, but I'm so thankful for second chances. Hey, read this story. But I didn't realize how significant it was until I gave it to a bishop today. And I gave it to the bishop, and he has already watched the DVD. He's already gotten back with me, and it wasn't my story that he was motivated about that sold him. It was Greg and Lanika Scott's story that sold him. And so I'm excited because we now have an easier way to deliver the message. And when I look back over my career, I've always had things to leverage. And we were laughing and talking about it, Mr. Lloyd, how, we have people doing some tremendous things over here in TLC, but we still don't have the tools. So we have people like the Rich Under 30 group that, $250,000, 6-figure earners, and we didn't have the magazines. Just imagine what's about to happen now with the new people that's going to emerge, because we now have an easier form of delivery of our TLC message. And so I'm excited because, when I think back to what we've been able to do, just even leaving the magazines, in doctor's offices and nail salons and putting your label on them. Or how about as you're doing your transformational parties, your reshaping parties, having the ability to pass the magazines out as we're mixing and mingling before the parties and saying, hey, read the stories, So, I mean, I know I'm committed to, putting another 50,000 people in the system in 90 days. My team and I know that all roads leads to Miami, and I want you all to know, Kenny Lloyd and Twyla Portis, y'all talking about 2,500 people. My team, just know we're going to put between 3,500 and 4,000 people in the room, so we ready. Back at you, Mr. Lloyd.
Stormy, thank you very much. And I know, but these are the kind of challenges, and we're going to have a challenge city by city of people, and we're going to do something special for the people who really perform and come through. Look, I got to bring somebody else to the line. Look, I'm talking about at 10:20 in their car. I don't know what CEO does this. I just don't. I've worked for companies, and they just don't even make themselves available. But when you have a CEO that understands, that treats you like you're important, that's special. So what I'd like to do is right away is bring Mr. Jack Fallon to the call, who agreed to get on this leadership call. So, I mean, look, Jack, again, publicly, I got to say, man, that everything that you said that you were going to do to help us become what we've become, you did it. You were a man of your word. You continue to be a man of your word, and man, and we appreciate, again, you stretching, and in order for us to go to the next level. So without further ado, Mr. Jack Fallon, our CEO, I'd like to bring him to the line. Okay, so I could do my Jack Fallon impression, but since this is recorded, somebody will let him hear it. Okay, so listen, Jack dropped, and I saw him. He hung on for a long time. But how about let me say this? We had Mr. Ross Crago from Success Partners. Did he make it to the line?
Yes, I am here, Kenny.
Thank you, Ross. I just wanted to make sure. Look, Ross was at the event. Many of you all saw him. But I'm going to tell you, every time I talk to Ross, I learn something different. I always leave the conversation with more than I had when we began the conversation. And he has a tremendous amount of wisdom about this industry. Because how could you ignore his information? Because they've helped so many. And you really have to respect and appreciate what he can give you. It's just that he did not have adequate time to really share what we needed to hear at the event. So I wanted to make sure that we gave him adequate time to share the viability and really just give us an introspective of how to really market the magazine. So without further ado, I'd like to bring to the line Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Mr. Ross Crago. Ross, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you for taking the time to join us.
All right. I don't know if you can see me because I appreciate the kind words you had and accolades, but one thing that I haven't done before is be on a Google Hangout, and as I got set up here tonight to do that, I found that my camera was facing forward, and I didn't see how to turn it back around, so I've just turned my computer around and hold it in my hand, so hopefully what you see isn't frightening you too much. This okay? Hello, hello, hello.
You're good, Ross. We see you loud.
Okay.
We see you clearly.
All right, good. Well, I want to congratulate all of you on what I saw this last weekend in Atlanta. I think this organization has just a phenomenal leadership. I can see why the organization has had the growth that it's had. You've got a lot of very talented, very knowledgeable, very effective leaders. And I got a little insight to that when I got with you guys down in Houston, and what I saw in Atlanta just reconfirmed my initial impression of you. And, I just want to congratulate you all on what you're doing. I think the goal that you have is noble, and really want to help you accomplish that, touching that 100,000 families. And, of course, this is a vehicle to do that with. What really separates people or organizations that tremendously succeed from others is you must have a duplicatable business building system that absolutely everybody follows exactly. That way that can get duplicated on down into an organization, hundreds and even thousands of people in depth. Without that common duplicatable system, every organization is going to be limited, and there'll become a point that you just can't get past it. So it's that system that allows you to get past it. The other thing is you've got to empower that newest person. I realize that everybody on this call, you don't need this magazine to be successful. But I want you to know that you need this magazine to get this organization to the size that you really want to get it to. This is without a doubt the most powerful business building tool that has ever been developed. There's so many things that it does. The biggest thing it does right off is to help that newest person who joins your business, that person who doesn't have your skill, talent, and experience. The whole thing is about empowering that newest person. 85% of your sales are going to come from the newest members of your organization. And guess who they are? 95% of them don't want to be salesmen or sales ladies. All right? That's not why they got in the business. They also have the least amount of knowledge and therefore the greatest amount of anxiety. So that's the challenge every company out there has. How do you empower that newest person? Some companies do it far better than others. Those that do it well, they find out very quickly that we have to turn the newest person into a messenger. We can't expect that they're going to learn all this information and be able to share it with others because, again, 95% of them don't want to be salespeople. And what do salespeople do? They know all the detail about their product. They know all the ingredients, what they do. They know the science behind it. They know features, benefits, all kinds of stuff. All right, and these guys aren't going to learn that, and that's why the industry has such a horrible statistic that 80% of the people who sign up, that's their last official act. They don't get into action. And there's lots of reasons they don't. One of the biggest ones is just that fear they have to know everything. And if they don't know enough about the product yet, they don't know enough about the company yet, they want more information before they get started. And I'm sure this is resonating with each one of you as I share this, because you've all experienced it. And of course, what does the typical leader do in that situation? They say, well, here, let me help you. You know, I'll write out something you can say. Because, see, that's a big fear for that newest person. They're excited, but they don't know what to say to their best friend, to their family member that they're wanting to show this opportunity to. And so when they meet that person, they're going, they just can't think of the first few words to say to begin the conversation. They don't know how to bring it up. And each time they see that prospect that they want to talk to, they go through that experience and they end up saying nothing. And later on they say, oh yeah, I was in that, but it didn't work. Well, that wasn't the thing at all. It's just they didn't know what to say. And then back to that field leader, it says, well, here, say this. And you write out a quick script for them. And guess what? When they tried that, it puts red flags up with their friend because they say, you don't normally talk like that. What are you doing? What's up? What's the real deal here? And they're toast. So what has to happen is we have to turn them into messengers. And to do that, you've got to take your story and put it in some form that all they have to do is share it. And what we have found is there is no more powerful tool to use to pack that message in than a magazine. And especially a magazine like yours that has the video in it, because the video brings it to life, brings the people to life. So you have, without a doubt, the most powerful tool. And that new person can easily use it because everyone can share a magazine. They're not trying to sell anything, they're not trying to bring anything, they're just simply sharing a magazine. And they can, the first few words can simply be, hey, have you seen this magazine? Have you heard of TLC, as you know, as they hold the magazine out? So it's simple to put in people's hands. And that newest person, you know, many times they're worried about their prospect, their good friend, asking a question that they can't answer. And they don't want to appear dumb or stupid to their friend, so they won't even chance it until they feel they know more information. Well, here's where you can help them. You can help them understand that, hey, if a friend or prospect asks them a question that they don't know the answer to, just simply say, you know what, I'm brand new, but I'll bet the answer's in here, and you point to the magazine. So it is a powerful tool to get that new person started. It takes away the pressure, takes away the stress of them having to know a whole bunch of things or what to say. They can get into action very quickly. And oh, by the way, here's another great feature of all this. more than likely they were approached with someone with a magazine. So they have a little video in their head on what to do. And Kenny can give you some more guidance on this, but maybe when you're out prospecting someone, you're giving them the magazine at the same time you're sampling them with the tea. I mean, you guys figure out what's going to work best there, but whatever you come up with, make it uniform. And be sure they're getting the magazines in their hand during that process somehow. And also be sure you've got your information, your contact information on that magazine. So if you leave it behind in a doctor's office, or where you're getting your oil changed, or the beauty salon, or the nail place, or wherever it might be, leave it there, and then someone who's looking for opportunity will come across that, and they'll know how to contact you. We've even had anecdotal stories of people saying they gave the magazine to the prospect took it home and just threw it on the coffee table and forgot about it. Neighbor comes over several weeks later, says, "Hey, what's this?" Starts looking through the magazine, and neighbor was interested. Neighbor was ambitious, and neighbor ended up calling that person and getting in their business. So this is a powerful, powerful tool. You've heard several people talk about, Twyla and Stormy and Kenny talk about, having your picture, your story in the magazine, and that's terrific. Absolutely great. It's going to help you a ton to have that, because there's no more powerful third-party credibility than that magazine. But here's the other thing. It is absolutely terrific for that newest person in your business, because they can be pointing to you and saying, "Hey, this person was in my living room last week. They're helping us build this business. They're going to help you. Oh, see this couple here? I'll be able to introduce you to them when you come to the meeting next week." So you want to teach your people to use it that way, because that's one of the biggest challenges a new person has. They feel they have no credibility. But the magazine allows them a vehicle to borrow your credibility and to point you out. Now, I forget whether it was Twyla, or I think it was Twyla that brought this up, that said, when you share the magazine with someone, point them to a story in there that you think will resonate with them. Know all the people that are featured in the magazine and read their stories, so when you're out prospecting someone, or you have a friend that might have a similar situation, when you hand the magazine to them, open it up to the exact page and say, "Hey, read this article. I think you'll find this is someone like you," or "I think you'll find this interesting." And that's what a prospect's looking for. They're looking for someone that they can relate to, and that their belief level will be, if that person can do it with that challenge, gosh, I can do it as well. Because that's one of the first questions they have. Can I do this? It's all about belief. So you've got a powerful tool here. It only works if you as leaders use it and demonstrate it and do what you say, and then your people will replicate what they see. And you get that system of using that tool, teaching your people to be messengers, not messages, and your business will absolutely thunder. Now, Kenny, I've rattled on here a whole bunch. Don't know if I'm covering the kind of things you want, so why don't I just stop here a second and let you give me some guidance.
Ross, I think you've covered what we needed to hear, and because let me just sum it up. It's everything that we do in this business. If you look at the most successful people, they use everything that they have. The magazine is a tool. If you look at the rings that you all receive, the rings are a tool. It's not just a piece of jewelry. It's a tool to generate curiosity and to attract people to you. So the people, again, who make the most money are the people that recognize and utilize the tools to help them perform better. The magazine is an absolute tool. It's one of the best that you could ever get, and then to be associated with the Success Partners name is just incredible, because everybody in the industry is very familiar with it. So, Ross, we get it. I get it 100%, and I think that everybody that is going to be successful, that has the ability, the potential to be extremely successful, gets it. Okay, so I thank you for taking your time.
Hey, Kenny, let me share one last thing with you.
Absolutely.
And that's that Scott and Jack have decided to extend the pricing for 100 magazines and above order through this Sunday. So I would encourage you to get all the leaders on the call, and for them to get the word out to their people, just to go to the website, to your store website. What is it? shopmytlc.com, and place their orders for the magazine, because that is a super hot price, for 100 magazines or more. And I think that's terrific that they chose to go ahead and extend that for everyone through this Sunday. I'd encourage you to take advantage of it.
Thank you very much, Ross. And I want to let everybody on here know that the link that allowed you to get onto this Hangout, if you go back to it, it has the link to get your magazines and also to get your early bird tickets. Okay. So again, I want you to go back to the link and you'll see the two links: how to get your early bird tickets for Miami, and also how to get your magazines. So again, I want to thank Ross for taking the time. I want to know, is Jack out there? I know we lost Jack for a second, but has Jack made it back to the line yet?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Jack. I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I just want to let everyone know that I apologize for this, not really taking the time to, and that includes you, Ross, taking the time to make sure that this training was implemented. And the reason being is because it's very important. Track record.
Jack, you're going in and out.
Maybe you can do it tomorrow, maybe, or we can do it on a call. I apologize.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Jack, again, Jack, let me ask you this question. I mean, as you, and I want to, it's important, as you really thought about making this investment, I mean, what was it that you really envisioned as you really decided to do this? What did you envision how this really benefited the field? What was your thoughts on that?
Well, it has such a track record. It's edification. It's instant edification. Your team is edifying you instantly, and also the credibility obviously goes with that as well. But also we build from this. The next magazine is going to have your leaders that you brought aboard, so on and so forth. It's a generation. It just keeps building on top of generation. But the part that I'm apologizing for is that we didn't really take the time to make sure that Ross was, the training was set in stone, and it should have been treated better. And the reason why I am apologizing is because obviously I know how important it is, but the message didn't get across to the leadership, and it shows in the purchase of the magazines. Two leaders came up to me. They know how important it is. One, I don't know if he's on this call, Fred Herzog. He's like, I'm buying a pallet, because he was in it in with Noni, and you know what I mean, in the past issues, and he saw what this magazine did with Noni. It was an amazing run. It's still in the history of network marketing. He knew right away. No other leader came up to me and said anything about this magazine, which I instantly knew that they don't get it. They just don't get what just happened. So I apologize that I didn't make it, Ross's training more important, where you really got that message, because that's how important it is. If you don't get it, the next leadership group that we put in the magazine will, because I will make sure that this is a success. And I know we're trying to get to, we're starting to get to know each other, the leadership and myself, my personality. I'm very, very competitive. I never sit still. We had a great weekend. We're going to have a better weekend in Miami. We're going to have a better weekend in the next city. I'm just that type of guy. I'm not satisfied, and I'm very competitive. If we're going to play pool, I'm going to play pool, and I'm going to beat you, or I'll play pool all night until I do beat you. It's just in me. That's just the way I am. So when Ross came up to me, or I don't know if it was Ross specifically, and they said, we've never sold this less of magazines ever in the history of launching a magazine, I knew right then and there our leadership just didn't get it. And it's my fault. when we win, it's because of you. When we lose, it's because of me. That's the way I look at it, and I take that wholeheartedly. So this is a very, very important tool, and if we don't grab a hold of it now with this group, we're going to grab a hold of it with the next group. So, that's all I really have to say about it. I'm excited about it, and I know that it's going to work just because of its track record.
Okay, thank you, Jack. And listen, let me say this, guys, okay? Because you would never ever hear Jack, talk about this. And it's funny because you all will hear me really share about these things about Jack. But it's because, I think I have a different relationship with him. I've had a chance to work closely with him. But when you have people that really do something, it's just like if I really said I'm going to spend money and it's going to really bless my team, and if you all really didn't participate and didn't get it, it would hurt me. It really would. And so I want us to make a commitment to making sure that we teach our teams how to really utilize this tool. Okay, I just can't say it enough. I mean, a lot of us are featured, and those who are not featured, everybody gets a turn. I don't want this to be about I'm not in it, so it's not important to me, because everybody gets a turn to get celebrated. Okay? All right, so Jack, don't worry, man. Listen, we're going to make this happen. This leadership group, a lot of times we don't get it, but I want to let you know, and I'm going to commit that, yeah, we get it now. Okay? And we are going to use this tool. So, because we don't want, listen, man, I don't want to let you down. We don't want to let you down. So we get it. We're going to move on. So having said that, as we, because you got to understand, guys, 10,000 people in Miami, it is an incredible undertaking. Okay, and everything we do that we can use to help recruit people, we must capitalize on it. We must make the most of it. I was talking to Stormy earlier. She came up with some great ideas about the movement to Miami. And one thing that we said we were going to do, and we can start doing tonight, is that at the end of every post you use on Facebook, social media, those of you all who use, Instagram, we want to do hashtag all roads lead to Miami. That needs to be a part of everything that we say. Any communication that we have on the social media, we want to end it with hashtag all roads lead to Miami. Okay? So look, we don't want to take up much more of your time. We will take another time and get Ross again, because you do have to listen to people who have made companies, billion-dollar companies, and you gotta listen to them and let them teach you how to really use the tool. And I don't think that we did ourselves a service by not allowing Ross the time. You live and you learn. But listen, we're going to get him on and let him again teach us how to do this. But I appreciate everybody for taking the time to get on this evening. And let's say, go get our magazines tonight. Yeah, and listen, I want the links are on there. The links are on the landing page to get on this hangout. So I want everybody to go get your magazines tonight, okay? And because your team, the speed of the leader determines the speed of the pack. And I'm with Jack with that. When Jack told me that Success Partner said it was the lowest sales that they had in the history, I was embarrassed. I mean, because I'm competitive too. And if you weren't, and I'm sharing this with you, they said it was the lowest sales that they had ever had. Now, me, I don't participate in the lowest of anything, okay? And I was very embarrassed by that, and so was Jack. He would never say it, but he was embarrassed by it. So, listen, but the good thing about it is that you can always turn things around. So, listen, go place your orders tonight. Get those magazines in your people's hands. Get those magazines in your beauty salons, doctors' offices. Get them in people's hands, because they will bless us, okay? So I'm not going to take another moment. Again, thank everybody so much for all the contributions you all made in Atlanta and helping to make it a phenomenal event. And we should all be benefiting from this. Don't forget, tomorrow night we do a big team call, a hangout. Do another hangout tomorrow night at 9 p.m., and it is for the entire TLC. So please let your teams know. Get everybody on it. We're going to kind of, debrief and share some things with everybody. But thank you all very much. Good night. God bless. We love you all. Thanks, Jack. Thanks, Ross, again.
It went down in Hotlanta on July 17th and 18th at the Total Life Changes National Event. It all happened at the Georgia International Convention Center. All the events were fantastic. The training was superb. Excellent. And just in case you weren't able to make it or you have friends that need the training, it's available right now. Log on to www.tlc-atlanta.com on demand for $5.99. That's thousands of dollars of information for only $5.99. Log on today. It's Miami, baby! Miami, baby! Total Life Changes presents the 2016 TLC Awards in beautiful Miami, Florida. Get your best dress ready because this is a black tie affair. February 19th and 20th. If you thought Atlanta was hot, it's time to sizzle in the Miami heat. There will be VIP parties and some of the best entertainment around. The heat is already turning up. Join us as we celebrate TLC's top earner, top recruiter, and introducing best new networker and more. February 19th and 20th. All roads lead to Miami, baby. Get your tickets today because this is one award show you don't want to miss.